KL Rahul, Nicholas Pooran scream on that list, of course. And big question on Mayank Yadav, who's just been called up to the Indian side for the Bangladesh series. So he may not be an uncapped player by the time the deadline kicks in. You also have Ravi Bishnoi, you have Marcus Stoinis as players there. So let's start making that list. Tom, KL Rahul and Pooran.
Well, yeah, if they're wanting to be retained, we know there's been some controversial sort of articles around KL Rahul and the relationship with the franchise, to whether that's been resolved or not. If it is resolved, for sure, KL Rahul, captain, top order batter, Nicholas Pooran, the most dangerous overseas middle order batter in the game at the moment, in my view. And Stoinis had a terrific year for him. So those three I would have thought are absolute certainty. Bishnoi is another one that I just wonder whether you could write to match him in the auction. I don't think you need to be throwing 11 crore or whatever the number is that you retain him for, where I think you could possibly buy him back in the auction or write to match him.
I feel like LSG are a team who can't possibly go for 4 capped players to retain, because even if Mayank Yadav gets a cap, they still have so many viable uncapped options. You look at Mohsin Khan. He's someone who's highly rated. Yash Thakur has been successful for them. So you've got
Badoni.
If Mayank is there,
Badoni is there. You have
Badoni. So you have
Arshad Khan's good player.
You have a good case for 2 uncapped players and you pick any of these 2 players who we've just named. If you manage to keep them at 8 crore, I think that's worth. And then you still want to have 1 RTM with you. So then that leaves you with 3 retentions.
I can actually see LSG retaining just 1 capped player. I can see them maybe going just Pooran at 18. Again, this depends on the whole relationship between Rahul and the franchise. But let's assume Rahul wants to move on. They could just go Pooran at 18, maybe get a couple of uncapped players, and then leave themselves with lots of money to try and get back people like Stoinis, Bishnoi in the auction.
I'll go with that. I definitely will. Yeah, Pooran.
You're saying KL Rahul will go into the auction?
I mean,
I think there is talk anyway about it. There is talk.
I don't have information, but I'm just saying, in the case that he wants to go, if he wants to leave, then I can see them going with just Pooran.
My take on Rahul is the uncertainty of the big auction and where he'll land up. He will continue this year, and then when the trades are activated, he may look for a move in the following year. That's how I see it.
But it's also not up to Rahul. I feel that it's also the main question. This is again the question that like MI face is, do LSG want Rahul as a captain? I feel, this is not like some inside news. I feel that they will have to consider this question because last year they had that. I think they could look at even Pooran as a captain. He's a good choice probably as a keeper batter, but whether then they want another keeper.
They did well under him last season, under Pooran, when Rahul didn't play, and Pooran's won a couple of franchise tournaments.
So I would go with Dustin, Pooran, 1 retention and 2 uncapped players in Mohsin and Badoni.
Do you see that as something that could happen? We could have KL Rahul going into the auction as well, Tom, and Pooran as captain. Is that a smart play?
Well, put it this way, if I was LSG, I'd be doing my best to keep KL Rahul and Nicholas Pooran. But if relationships are fractured, that's the time to move on and not look back. And Nicholas Pooran, yes, he can captain and keep wicket as well, obviously. And we all know what he's capable of doing in the middle order. So if they did go if KL Rahul, those discussions went that way with regards to, he doesn't want to be retained, the smart play would be just retain Pooran and a couple of uncapped players and go into the auction with a big purse and get back who you want out of your squad.